Archangel Michael pulled me aside after the dream. That wasn't a symbol, that was a warning. It happened just before the veil of night surrendered to morning light, in that sacred space between sleep and spirit, where eternity whispers into the mind and heaven chooses its moment. This was not an ordinary dream. This was not the echo of your thoughts, nor the residue of your emotions. No, this was a divine interruption, a heavenly incursion. A messenger entered. Archangel Michael stepped in, and he did not come bearing riddles or metaphors. He came to clarify what the dream tried to make plain, but your heart, in its human nature, tried to decode it as symbol, as poetry, as a maybe. But this was not a symbol. This was not metaphor. This was a warning, a heavenly siren disguised in vision, a revelation too urgent to be misread. You didn't imagine it. You didn't invent it. You were pulled aside by heaven, because what was coming couldn't wait any longer. You were marked, not misled. This message is not a parable for the curious. This message is a clear directive for the called, for the ones who have been sensing something shifting, something stirring but couldn't quite explain it, for the ones who wake up with a weight on their chest and no earthly reason for it, for the ones who have noticed the air changing in rooms where it used to feel safe. This is not your imagination. This is intervention, divine interruption, spiritual redirection. You saw something in that dream. It pierced you. It wasn't an abstract image. It wasn't an accidental scene. It was targeted truth. Michael revealed something you weren't ready to see with your natural eyes, so heaven showed it through your spirit while you slept. This wasn't a test of curiosity. It was a confirmation of calling. You're on the edge of impact. You're on the edge of movement. You're on the edge of collision, not with destruction, but with destiny. Be still. Heaven is speaking now, not through metaphor, not through hidden language, not through whispers, but through a clear voice, unmistakable and unshaken. The Lord is not trying to confuse you. He's warning you. He's preparing you. He's covering you. And He's using Archangel Michael to do it. Because what's approaching carries weight, and only those who have ears to hear will survive the storm with their faith intact. You've come too far to dismiss this. You've endured too much to call this coincidence. That dream was not random. It was not symbolic. It was spiritual intelligence. And heaven is calling you to respond, not retreat. This moment will define what happens next, because once you've been warned, heaven holds you accountable for how you move. Do not dismiss this. Do not delay. The skies have already opened. The veil has already thinned. And the voice that came to you in the stillness of sleep is the same voice echoing now into your spirit. This wasn't a symbol, this was a warning. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. In the next 48 hours, you'll feel the echo of this. That with the first sentence, the first ripple of urgency from the mouth of Archangel Michael. He wasn't poetic. He wasn't softened. He wasn't coded in comfort. He's rubbed with purpose, with weight, with fire. His presence broke through the dream like thunder tearing through stillness. He didn't wait for permission. He didn't speak with hesitation. He came as one who had been sent. And when heaven sends Michael, it's because something critical is already in motion, not about to start, but already unfolding, already touching your timeline, already pressing against the veil of your natural life. The dream wasn't your imagination. The timing wasn't your mistake. What you experienced was not fantasy. It was divine interception. a breach from heaven into your subconscious, because your conscious mind has been too clouded with noise, too bombarded with confusion, too distracted by warfare to hear the still voice of the Spirit during the day. So heaven waited until the world went silent, and then it struck. Michael's voice rang clear. This dream was your only delay. Understand what that means. The Father wasn't punishing you by delaying your breakthrough. He was preserving you. He was buying you time. He was holding the storm back long enough to send a warning through a vessel no one could interrupt, your dream life. Because if this message came through a person, you would have doubted it. If it came through a sermon, you might have brushed it off. But when it came from Michael, in that space between deep sleep and spiritual exposure, it bypassed your doubt. It bypassed your distractions. You went straight to your spirit. You are not crazy. You are not being haunted by thoughts. You are not imagining danger. You are not misreading the signs. You are chosen, and being chosen doesn't always look like applause. Sometimes it looks like isolation. Sometimes it sounds like warning. Sometimes it feels like pressure. But make no mistake, you are not lucky. You are marked. Marked for divine preservation. Marked for strategic alignment. Marked for a level of revelation few around you will understand. Archangel Michael doesn't come to entertain. He comes to protect. He comes to alert. He comes when the spiritual stakes are too high for delay. And that means this: you are not standing at the edge of a small decision. You are standing at the tipping point of something heavy, something eternal, something spiritually charged. Your next move matters, not just to your future, but to your assignment. There are moments in every warrior's journey where heaven chooses to interfere, and this, right now, is one of them. The warfare that's been swirling around your emotions, it wasn't because you did something wrong. It's because you've been doing something right. You've been aligning. You've been shedding the old skin. You've been resisting what tried to pull you back. And now heaven has declared you ready, not ready for ease, but ready for clarity. And that's what Michael brought. Clarity. Not comfort. Not closure. Not confirmation of your past. But clarity about your next move, and clarity about the urgency of the hour. You don't have time to second-guess yourself. You don't have space to ask others for permission. You don't have room for apology. This is not a season to explain yourself to those who can't see what you've seen. This is not the hour to ask blind people to verify your vision. If God showed it to you, if Michael spoke it over you, then that is enough. Be still, but be aware. Be quiet, but be quick. Heaven is activating something inside you that will not sit dormant any longer. There is no more delay. There is no more symbolic dreaming. This is the hour of manifestation, of movement, of divine separation from the unnecessary. You are being pulled from distraction into destiny, pulled from confusion into calling, pulled from noise into knowing. Listen carefully now what you've been wrestling with in silence. Heaven is about to confront in public. What you've been tolerating in private, heaven is about to expose in power. What you've been carrying in pain, heaven is about to redeem with purpose. This is not imagination. This is divine interception. And only those who are still, those who are silent before God, those who are surrendered in spirit, will hear what's being said clearly in this hour. If you keep looking for meaning and symbols, you will miss the warning that has already been spoken. Archangel Michael didn't just step into your dream to deliver a line. He came to draw a line between who you were and who you are now being called to become. So receive this. And remember what he said. In the next 48 hours, you'll feel the echo of this. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. You've noticed it, and don't let anyone convince you otherwise. You felt it, long before words could ever wrap around the weight of it. The uneasiness when you walk into certain rooms. The shift in energy when you enter conversations that were sweet just seconds before. The way laughter dies when your footsteps approach. The way eyes pretend to look past you, but they've been watching. Oh yes, they've been watching. They act like you're not a threat, but they've already begun preparing for your rise. They pretend not to notice, but something in them reacts violently to the light in you. It's subtle. It's strategic. It's spiritual. You've sensed it. The hush behind the door you just closed. The glances exchanged when your back is turned. The false cheerfulness that feels like stale air. You second-guess yourself, wondering if you're becoming too sensitive, too suspicious. But Michael came to clear the fog. He came to confirm what your spirit's been screaming in silence. This emotional unrest is not paranoia. It's signal. It's spiritual disruption. It's heavenly intel delivered through the alarms in your discernment. This is not about your imagination running wild. It's about your spirit waking up. You're not being dramatic. You're being informed. God is allowing your internal radar to detect what your eyes can't yet fully see. That unsettling tension. A discomfort around certain people. That's the spirit warning you before the sabotage even finds language. Michael showed you shadows standing behind masks. Not because he wanted to frighten you, but because it's time to stop misnaming these forces. What you've been calling personality conflicts are really disguised spiritual oppositions. What you thought were friends are sometimes foes in friendly packaging. Not all who stand near you are for you. Not all who say your name mean it with honor. And heaven will not allow you to keep playing small to fit among those secretly scheming against your rise. You've recoiled without knowing why. You've pulled back without proof. But now, the proof is being revealed in the spiritual realm first. The looks. The tone. The hesitations. The way certain people shift when your name is mentioned. Don't ignore it. That resistance is revelation. That awkward silence is evidence. Archangel Michael said, "You've seen their face. Now I'll show you their intention." Heaven doesn't expose to humiliate. Heaven exposes to protect. The divine doesn't gossip. It guards. And right now, heaven is guarding your next season from the interference of masked motives. You were not wrong. You were not exaggerating. Your recoil was a revelation. And God is saying, now act accordingly. You don't need to confront them. You don't need to accuse them. You don't even need to explain yourself. You only need to believe what heaven showed you. Because they smiled, but your soul didn't. They offered support, but your peace pulled back. They praised you in public, but planned around you in private. The truth is rising. You're not alone in this sensing. Your discernment isn't just active, it's anointed. This warning isn't about paranoia, it's about positioning. Michael pulled you aside because the next steps require distance from anyone carrying spiritual contamination. You're about to walk into spaces where only purity can go with you. You're about to make decisions that will break patterns your bloodline tolerated. That's why the enemy isn't attacking you directly. He's using proximity. Familiar faces. Comfortable relationships. Deceptive alliances. But now you see, and seeing changes everything. You are not imagining this. You are identifying it. You are not overreacting. You are spiritually activating. And now, you walk differently. You move with holy caution. You speak with heaven's silence. You trust what your spirit felt before the facts followed. This is not the time to shrink. This is not the time to doubt what God revealed. This is your moment to walk boldly, knowing that heaven has shown you the truth behind the face. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $10. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more prophetic messages, divine strategies, and spiritual insight designed to uplift and awaken your calling. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1414 is now surrounding you. A dream wasn't random. It was encrypted warfare. Encoded truth wrapped in divine symbols. Not metaphorical, strategic. Every detail, every image, every emotion in that dream was a download from the throne room, filtered through heaven's language to awaken your discernment. And now, the time has come to interpret what you felt as reality, not fantasy. You must understand this. God allows spiritual distortion not to destroy you, but to define you. Heaven permits shaking so that loyalty can be revealed, intentions can be tested, and assignments can be purified. The conflict you're experiencing is not chaos, it's clashing kingdoms. What you thought was merely emotional discomfort is actually spiritual dissonance, revealing what can and cannot travel with you into this next level of authority. Archangel Michael wasn't warning you of random threats. He was showing you spiritual players in your environment. Some aligned, some opposing, all revealing. You've been discerning something, and now the veil is being torn open. The people who have shifted near you. The ones whose loyalty feels conditional. The ones who once supported you but now seem distant, dismissive, different. They're not reacting to your personality. They're reacting to your promotion. Listen. You're not under attack because you're weak. You're under spiritual fire because you are called. The enemy doesn't invest his strategy in empty threats. He targets the throne-rising ones. And you, beloved, are one of them. You are ascending. You are evolving. You are becoming too bold to ignore, too aligned to tolerate what you used to. And heaven is removing every attachment, every connection, every influence that would jeopardize what's next. This isn't punishment. This is positioning. Every loss, every silence, every betrayal, it's not rejection. It's redirection. God is severing ties you never would have cut yourself. He is releasing you from environments that felt familiar but were spiritually fatal. He is pulling you from conversations that sound kind but sow confusion. He is leading you out of circles that celebrated your potential but resisted your progress. Michael made it clear. This shaking is not meant to break you. It's meant to expose the spiritual ranks in human disguise. Some who surrounded you wore the robes of allies, but heaven sees the garments of sabotage beneath. Some who prayed you in public were poisoning your purpose in prayerless whispers. Some who walked with you were only waiting to see if you'd stumble. But now heaven has made its decision, and it is choosing your destiny over your comfort. It is choosing your calling over your consensus. It is choosing your crown over your company. You are not falling apart. You are falling into place. This season will not end in breakdown. It will end in building. Not everyone will come with you because not everyone was sent with you. Do not be afraid of this conflict. Do not curse the chaos. Do not fear the fallout. This is heaven sorting. This is spiritual sifting. And when the dust settles, you'll see that you've only lost what could never carry the weight of your next mantle. Stay still. Stay rooted. Stay consecrated. Because the shaking may feel like warfare, but it is, in fact, warfare wrapped in love. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Lesson code 777 is covering you now. Within 72 hours, Michael said, something surfaces. He didn't say maybe. He didn't say possibly. He declared it, with finality, with authority, with the divine certainty that comes when heaven speaks through its warrior archangel. The clock has already started ticking. The hourglass of your current spiritual atmosphere is in motion. You are standing in a countdown. And it is not symbolic. It is not an allegory for some vague emotion or inner transformation. This is literal. This is timed. And it is already in movement. Here is a truth, real, raw, undeniable, that is about to rise to the surface of your life. Something that has been concealed. Something that has been whispered behind spiritual doors. Something that has been masked in smiles, hidden in laughter, and tucked beneath gestures of friendship. But Michael said the covering is about to tear. The disguise is about to dissolve. And the truth will be seen in plain sight. You are not crazy for feeling the storm coming. You are not paranoid for sensing the spiritual pressure growing. You've been waking up in the middle of the night for a reason. Your appetite has shifted for a reason. Your body, your soul, your spirit, all have been reacting to what heaven has already perceived. And now, you've been given the final preview. That moment in your dream, the confrontation, the raised voice, the sudden shift in tone, it wasn't a parable. It wasn't just imagery. That was a rehearsal. A prophetic rehearsal of what is about to unfold in the natural. God let you see it in the spirit so you wouldn't be caught off guard in the flesh. He let you feel the spiritual atmosphere so your heart would be prepared to stand still while everything else moves around you. There is a door, and Michael said it clearly. It will slam in the spirit before it slams in life. That door represents access. It represents connection. It represents opportunity or a relationship, and it has been swinging open for too long. Someone or something has been walking through that spiritual threshold with permissions they no longer have. And God is about to shut it, violently if necessary. You will hear the slam, not just physically, but spiritually. You will feel the shift. You will know it has closed, and it will not reopen. Prepare yourself. They are organizing confrontation. Some will attempt it verbally. Others will provoke it spiritually. There will be words thrown, actions taken, silence weaponized. But do not be shaken. This is not for your destruction. This is for your distinction. This is the moment where God draws the boundary, where heaven draws the line, where false access is revoked and holy separation is enforced. Brace yourself, but do not brace in fear. Brace in faith. Brace with praise. Brace with the full armor of heaven wrapping around you like invisible fire. Because what's about to happen is not an accident. It is appointment. Heaven is not asking for your panic. Heaven is asking for your posture. You will not fight this. You will not argue in this. You will stand, and heaven will fight through you. And here's the power of the warning. Now that you know it's coming, you cannot be shaken when it arrives. You will not be caught off guard. You will not be pushed into reaction. You are not the old version of yourself that used to panic at pressure. You've been prepared. You've been processed. You've been called aside by Michael himself. So now, when the shaking comes, you will smile in stillness. You will recognize the signs. You will feel the winds rise and declare, "This is not my defeat. This is my distinction." In 72 hours, watch the atmosphere. Watch who shows up. Watch what tries to distract you. Watch what truth begins to echo, even when no one says it aloud. It will be revealed, and you will be ready. Type "I will not be moved" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 5511 is now activated for your protection. Pull back. That was Michael's command, not a suggestion, not a spiritual option, but a divine directive. Pull back. In a world that tells you to react, to explain, to post, to defend, heaven tells you to withdraw. Because this is not your fight to speak in. This is your fight to survive in silence. The protection that surrounds you now is not built in words. It is built in withholding. Withholding your response. Withholding your explanation. Withholding your access to people who used to walk freely into your sacred space. Say nothing, Michael said, because the sound of heaven is louder than anything you could utter. You are being divinely hidden, cloaked in a silence that confuses the enemy and secures your destiny. The less you speak, the more heaven works. The less you justify, the more God reveals. You are not being silent because you lack strength. You are silent because your strength is sacred. Because your silence is armor. The silence is not weakness. It is warfare. It is strategy. It is shield. It is surrender to the divine timing of the one who sees all, knows all, and repays all. Be still, not to avoid conflict, but to activate heaven's conflict resolution. Be still, not because you don't feel, but because your feelings aren't the fuel of this fight. What's happening now is emotional, is eternal, and you must walk as one who trusts the court of heaven more than the court of public opinion. This is not the time to explain. This is not the time to gather sympathy. This is not the hour to defend your integrity to those who already decided what to believe. Because heaven is setting traps in silence, and those who misuse your name will fall into the same snares they dug. Those who weaponize your trust will be caught by the very webs they spun. Those who misread your silence as surrender will soon see it as sovereignty. Speak only to God. Let Him be the echo. Let Him speak through evidence. What they tried to twist will unravel by the weight of divine truth. You don't need to lift a finger. You don't need to send a message. You don't need to clear the air. The Holy Spirit is clearing the air on your behalf, and when He does it, there's no residue left behind. Michael's warning wasn't just about what's coming. It was about how to survive what's coming. And heaven's shield in this season is stillness. Pull back your words. Pull back your access. Pull back your energy from people who only drain and never discern. Pull back your expectation from relationships that were only temporary trials. Let them talk. Let them guess. Let them misunderstand. Because while they do, heaven is strategically exposing and exalting you. This is not a punishment. This is placement. This is not abandonment. This is angelic insulation. You've been misunderstood. So was Joseph. You've been cast aside. So was David. You've been lied on. So was Jesus. But all three rose in silence. And so will you. Now is the time to trust the still instructions. Now is the time to walk as one protected by divine secrecy. What you do not say, God will confirm. What you do not defend, heaven will vindicate. Be still, not as a retreat, But as a reminder, you are already surrounded. You are already shielded. You are already sealed. Type "I trust God's silence" in the comments if you receive this word. Blessing code 8844 is now encircling you like a wall of fire. They think you're still the Virian. They deceive. That was the moment the fire inside you answered. That was the moment your soul sat up straighter and your spirit recognized the truth that had been hidden beneath your heartbreak. They think you're still fragile. They think you're still confused. They think you're still bound by the last moment they betrayed you. But what they don't see, what they cannot comprehend, is that the fire you walked through didn't burn you down, it burned everything that was false off of you. You are not the same. You are not the timid soul who kept silent to preserve relationships that poisoned you. You are not the naive heart that excused red flags because of potential. You are not the wounded version of yourself that confused loyalty with captivity. That Virian died in the fire. That version was buried in the silence. That version will not rise again. You have changed, and the evidence is everywhere. The silence didn't weaken you, it sharpened you. While they thought you were retreating, you were recharging. While they were mocking your absence, heaven was molding your authority. You've been in a hidden transformation, surrounded by fire but refined, not destroyed. You are now walking with the weight of glory. You are now marked by the hand of God in ways no eye can see but every spirit can sense. They underestimated you, but God has elevated you. They misjudged you, but the anointing has recalibrated your steps. You're not carrying wounds anymore. You're carrying weapons. Every pain became a sword. Every rejection became oil. Every tear became a scroll of evidence that heaven collected, sealed, and translated into divine strategy. You don't need revenge. That's too small for where you're headed. You don't need validation. You've already been affirmed in heaven's war room. You don't need closure. You've got calling. What they meant for evil, God is now flipping into fuel. What they thought would break you has now become your boldness. This is the shift, the undeniable, irreversible shift. You are no longer defined by the damage. You are not rising as a victim of their plan. You are rising as a vessel of revelation. You saw too much in the dream. You heard too clearly. You were awakened too violently to ever go back to playing small. Now, your silence is your sword. Your stillness is your strength. Your wisdom is wrapped in scars you no longer hide from. Michael didn't just pull you aside to warn you. He came to activate you. This is your turning point. You are no longer walking like a survivor. You are walking like a sent one. Anointed. Appointed. Armored. Your movements now disturb the atmosphere. Your words now command attention in the realm of the spirit. You're not loud, but your presence has become a prophecy. The old you wanted to be understood. The new you understands your value can't be explained. The old you needed apologies. The new you carries resurrection power. They will recognize this version of you. They will blink twice when they hear how your name is now being spoken in rooms they never imagined you'd enter. They'll stumble when they realize the storm they celebrated did not drown you. It delivered you. The fire changed you. The silence empowered you. And now you rise, not in fragments, but in fire. You are stepping into divine dominion. You are stepping into a season where everything that didn't make sense now serves your assignment. No more second-guessing. No more thinking. No more editing yourself to keep others comfortable. This is your moment. This is your mantle. To walk like it. Speak like it. Move like it. Type I am Firewalker in the comments if this message ignited something in your soul. Blessing code 1313 is now activated around you. Michael said, the reason for the dream is alignment. It wasn't just to alert you. It wasn't just to warn you. It was to recalibrate you to heaven's precise timeline. You were moving, yes. You were obedient, yes. But something, someone, was still clinging to your path. A lingering connection, a stubborn pattern, a compromised environment that had no business traveling with your assignment. So heaven hit pause, not to punish you, but to protect you. You thought the delay was a denial, but it wasn't. It was a divine detour to shield your elevation. What was being held back is not being withheld, it's being preserved. Because what's coming to you isn't common. It isn't casual. It is consecrated. It's chaos. It's not meant to break you. It's meant to build capacity in you. What you're experiencing isn't confusion. It's divine redirection. And though your flesh has cried out in weariness, your spirit is about to leap. Because now, the symbols from your dream are turning into substance. You're about to see what heaven was preparing in the silence. You saw faces in that dream. You heard voices. You felt shifts. Those weren't random. Heaven gave you previews of who to pull from and who to trust, of where the snake slithered and where the angels stood watch, of who clapped while cursing and who covered you while quiet. You were shown the blueprint, and now the building begins. Alignment is not easy. Alignment requires loss. It requires uncomfortable decisions. It requires walking away without full explanations. But what God is aligning in your life is so precise, so sovereign, so strategic, that any deviation would be dangerous. This is divine placement. Every door opening, every voice fading, every shift occurring right now, it's orchestrated for your arrival into power. Heaven is not trying to impress you. Heaven is trying to install you. You're not being delayed, you're being upgraded. You're not being ignored, you're being insulated. You're not being overlooked, you're being overhauled. Because what's about to be handed to you is weighty. It's not a small promotion. It's not a slight elevation. It is spiritual significance. It is generational. It is the kind of favor that cannot be faked or fabricated. That's why the shaking came first. That's why the shadows moved. That's why the warning arrived. You couldn't walk into this next door carrying yesterday's weight. You couldn't receive this level with the distractions still attached. So heaven intervened. And now, alignment is here. Get ready to receive what was stored for you. Get ready to touch what was prophesied over you. Get ready to wear the identity you almost forgot was yours. Michael didn't come to give vague dreams. He came to deliver instructions for alignment. And now, your posture will attract the provision. Your stillness will summon the strategy. Your obedience will unlock the overflow. You are being aligned in ways no enemy can interrupt. You are being positioned in ways no man can stop. And you are being watched by heaven for release. If this message resonated with your spirit and you feel led to support our work, consider giving a super chat or super thanks. Even a gift of $5 helps us create more life-shifting content like this. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. You'll get exclusive access to future revelations, spiritual tools, and prophetic insights that keep you aligned and empowered for your journey. Type I am aligned in the comments if this revelation just confirmed what your spirit already knew. Blessing code 1010 is now being released upon your life. Declare now, not tomorrow, not later, not after you've processed it all, but now. I am not who I was. I am who He called. Let it be spoken with your mouth and sealed in your atmosphere. The transformation already happened in the spirit. Now it must be activated in your agreement. Heaven is waiting on your yes to initiate the release. You've already received the warning. You've already received the revelation. You've already been pulled aside, informed, shielded, and aligned. But now, the time for stillness turns to action. Not frantic motion, not desperate activity, but purposeful movement, rooted in conviction and carried by faith. This is not the moment to shrink back in overthinking. This is the moment to step forward like one who knows the scroll has already been written and your name is on it. Action aligns you. Hesitation delays breakthrough. Heaven cannot release what you refuse to respond to. The anointing has been awakened, but now it must be activated through your obedience. Every prophetic dream was not just a warning, it was an invitation to move. You were not being shown things for entertainment. You were being entrusted with divine intelligence. Your next season will not be built through begging. It will be built through belief. Start walking. Start declaring. Start preparing. Begin acting like the door has already opened, because it has. It just hasn't manifested yet in time, but in the spirit. It's already swinging wide. The moment you say yes, the shift begins. The moment you release the fear of what others will say, the moment you let go of the need for confirmation, the oil will start flowing. This is not suggestion, it's summoned. Heaven is not nudging you forward. It is commanding your movement. Angels are already positioned. Resources are already prepared. Divine appointments are already in place. But nothing moves until you do. This is the test of activation. Can you move while it still looks the same? Can you speak purpose daily while your environment tries to reflect pain? Can you walk like one who's already crowned, even while your enemies still remember your chains? Speak purpose, child of God. Speak it until your surroundings shift. Speak it until your emotions bow. Speak it until your own atmosphere submits to the sound of heaven's decree over your life. You're not waiting for proof anymore. You're becoming the proof. And let this be clear, your next level will not accommodate your comfort zone. You will have to leave some patterns behind. You will have to walk in rooms that make your old wounds itch. You will have to say yes before it feels safe. But your yes is not unto man, it's unto God. And when you say yes to Him, everything that's been dormant awakens. This dream, this encounter, this pull from Archangel Michael. It wasn't about fear. It was about fire. It was about your destiny finally being unlocked. That's why it came between sleep and spirit. Because in your conscious mind, you might have dismissed it. But in that realm, in that sacred veil-thin hour, your spirit couldn't lie. And heaven saw your agreement, even before you whispered it out loud. Now it's time to match that agreement with movement. It's time to let your yes echo through your actions. Heaven is watching how you handle this moment. And all of creation is groaning, waiting for the revealing of the sons and daughters of God. That's you. Right now. Say yes. Say now. Say boldly. And move. Type ISAYYES in the comments if you receive this word. Blessing code 4411 is now igniting your destiny path. While you slept, yes, While your body was still and your conscious mind unaware, a transaction occurred in the heavens. Michael wasn't just there to warn you. He was there to witness an exchange between what you lost and what is now being restored, between what was taken and what is being prepared. And this transaction happened without your permission because it was based on God's promise, not your perfection. While you slept, heaven spoke your name in the war rooms of angels. Your name echoed in the chambers of divine justice, not with fear, but with fire, not as a victim, but as a vessel. Michael stood not only as messenger, but as guardian of your promise. He placed himself between your name and every demonic contract written against it. He stood watch while hell tried to negotiate your delay. And Michael declared, with thunder and fire in his voice, "No more." That's what this dream was. That's what that image, that moment, that interruption really meant. It was a declaration. No more will this one be touched by what I did not ordain. Every tear you cried, it was documentation, not a waste, not a weakness. Each one recorded, each one written down in the books of heaven. You did cry in vain. You didn't groan for nothing. You didn't feel alone for no reason. It was all leading to this spiritual reversal. Because the warnings were real, but so is the inheritance. God would not have allowed the shaking if he wasn't preparing the handover. You gave up relationships. You gave up security. You gave up comfort. And heaven said, "Now I give back," in multiplied form. Michael didn't just come to show you what was wrong. He came to show you what's being secured. A dream was a divine transaction in motion. It was heaven showing you the receipt, the evidence of what's already been sealed. You may not have seen it yet, but it's already done. The favor you've been waiting on, already assigned. The breakthrough you've been praying for, already scheduled. The restoration you've been aching for, already routed to your spirit. What you gave up, heaven counted. What you lost, heaven recorded. And now, heaven is activating what was always yours. You're not just being warned, you're being woven into the fulfillment of prophecy. A prophecy spoken over you before you were ever formed in your mother's womb. This isn't new. It's ancient. And Michael had been standing near you all along, sword drawn, guarding the path to your promised identity. And now, it's unfolding. Even now, as your natural life still looks cloudy, your spiritual reality is crystal clear. You are not alone. You are not abandoned. You are not disqualified. You are sealed. You are seen. And what you surrendered in pain is being returned in power. The dream wasn't about fear. It was about favor, being secured. Type "I receive the divine exchange" in the comments if this section speaks to your soul. Blessing code 3333 is now surrounding your name in the spirit realm. The trap they set for you, the one they designed in secret, masked with smiles, planned behind doors they thought were hidden from heaven, has now become their own snare. This is not vengeance from your heart. This is vindication from the hand of God. You were never meant to fight this battle in the natural. That's why Michael came. That's why the dream felt heavy. That's why the warning was so clear. Because heaven has taken over the case. You stood still. You stayed quiet. You didn't retaliate. And now, divine reversal is in motion. The things stolen from you, peace, time, joy, trust, even reputation, are being rebalanced in the spirit realm. The scale had been tipped long enough. The injustice has weighed on your soul long enough. The Lord has said, enough. And when God says enough, it becomes law. Unbreakable. Irrevocable. Final. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord, and he meant it. Not poetic. Not passive. He meant it with the same fire that surrounded Moses, with the same thunder that split the mountain, with the same authority that stopped the mouths of lions for Daniel and silenced every accusing voice against the woman caught in shame. You are not alone in this. You are not forsaken. You are not forgotten. You are vindicated. This is not the end. This is the beginning of justice. What they spoke in secret is about to echo in public, reversed. What they assumed would ruin you is about to rebuild you. What they weaponized to destroy your confidence will now become the platform God uses to promote your name. You were mocked for your silence, but your silence became your sword. You were laughed at for your stillness, but your stillness summoned angels. They were counting on your breakdown. But what they didn't realize is that your spirit was being rebuilt in the fire. Heaven saw what you endured. A betrayal. A manipulation. The smear. The whisper campaigns. The way they tried to shift the narrative, twisting your character, minimizing your calling, reducing your anointing to a version they could dismiss. What it didn't work. Why? Because God was writing the final chapter, and He never writes His children out of their own destiny. Now the reversal begins. The very words they used to curse you are coming back around, but not to you. To them. The very schemes they designed are now turning inward. The pressure they tried to trap you in is now enclosing them. This is divine recompense, not out of hate, but out of holy balance. God is not cruel, but God is just, and the price for touching His anointed is always exacting. Not because He's angry, but because He is holy. They thought you were defenseless, but you were never alone. Your name was written in the Lamb's book before their opinions ever formed. Your identity was sealed by the Creator long before their gossip ever started. And now, heaven is settling it. The records have been examined. The books have been opened. The scroll of your obedience has been reviewed. Verdict rendered. Vindicated. Watch now. Watch for signs. Divine justice doesn't arrive quietly. It shows up in reversed opportunities, in unexpected closures, in divine silencing of mouths that once seemed loud, in exposures so clear, even your enemies will have to acknowledge God's hand is on you. Not to embarrass it, but to establish. Not to shame, but to separate. Because heaven doesn't just restore. Heaven elevates in public what was protected in private. This isn't revenge. This is revelation with consequences. And those consequences are holy. They are weighty. They are final. Now, take your eyes off what they did. Fix your eyes on what God is doing. Because if you stay focused on the betrayal, you'll miss the banquet. The table is being prepared, and it's in full view of your accusers. Not to rub it in, but to remind them that the favor of the Lord cannot be reversed by human schemes. What was denied to you is now being returned. What was withheld is now being released. And your name, once dragged, is now being divinely elevated. If this message has lit a fire inside your spirit, and you feel led to support our work, consider giving a super thanks or super chat. Even a gift of $20 helps us continue bringing messages of restoration and spiritual strategy. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the Support Here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Be sure to subscribe for future prophetic messages, spiritual direction, and Holy Spirit-led insight that will keep you strong, focused, and awaken for every battle and blessing ahead. Type "I am vindicated" in the comments if this justice belongs to you. Blessing code 9090 is now decreed over your life. You were never forgotten, never misplaced, never overlooked. Though it felt like silence surrounded you, though it looked like you were left alone in the shadows, though it seemed your name had vanished from their tongues, heaven never let you go. Heaven hid you, not as punishment, but as preparation. Because when oil is this costly, it must be kept sealed until the time is right. And now, the time is right. This message didn't find you by accident. It found you by divine design. Because you are not just hearing a message, you are becoming the message. You are the one Michael was sent for. You are the one who heard the call in the dream. You are the one who felt the fire rise in your bones when he whispered, "This wasn't a symbol, this was a warning." And now, the warning has served its purpose. It woke you up. It pulled you aside. It brought you to the threshold. Now heaven says, walk through. You are not being sent out empty. You are not moving forward alone. You are protected. You are propelled. You are prepared. The oil on your life is real. The fire in your belly is holy. And the favor surrounding your name is undeniable. You are sealed by God. You are seen by heaven. You are sent for impact. No delay remains. And no shadow can block what's already been decreed in the Spirit. You are a divine response to the enemy's confusion. You are a weapon wrapped in stillness. You are a testimony sealed with scars. And now you rise, not as a victim of what happened, but as a voice carrying heaven's vengeance and heaven's victory. The shift has occurred. The transaction is complete. Now let this affirmation settle in your bones. I am chosen. I am covered. I am called. I am commissioned. I am not who I was. I am the one God marked, and I rise on schedule. Let no doubt remain. Let no fear speak louder than faith. Let no past echo override the present decree. The same voice that pulled you aside in the dream is now releasing you into the fullness of what was promised. Now rise in boldness. Rise in silence. Rise in strategy. Rise in glory. Type "I am risen" in the comments if this message was for you. Blessing code 7777 is now covering you like a heavenly flame.